Hello, my XRP army, my tribe, and everybody out there in YouTube land. So, I'd like to cover a comment made by Makdrumz with a Z. Welcome to the channel. I think you're from off this continent by your name. Your full name, not just Mac Z. But what he says is that, okay, to stop all this unrealistic hysteria about XRP, I want to say the following, based on how the coin price actually works and giving realistic price targets, 2025 through 2030. And thank you for commenting. Thank you for everybody who leaves a comment. I really appreciate it. The algorithm uses comments as one big thing that it uses to determine whether or not to push out a video. And I value everybody's view. Everybody has a point of view, and they have come to these conclusions through their own research and things that affect their opinion about it. Excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. But first off, let me give my opinion of where I want XRP to go. Yeah, baby. Okay. 2025. Conservative, $1 to $10 if Ripple grows steadily. I don't dispute that. Moderate, 10 to 20 if adoption and regulations align. Adoption is happening, and we've just seen regulations. It's not. The Genius Act is not regulations. It is guidance. There's a difference. Regulations have enforcement behind it. Guidance does not. But guidance brings with it the threat of auditing if you do not adhere to the guidelines. So it's important to note that. However, I digress. Optimistic, 50 to 100. If XRP becomes a banking standard plus major supply burn. I don't see major supply burn. The burn rate is very infinitesimal, very small. But I won't cry if it becomes large. He goes on to say, for XRP to hit 100 plus, we'd likely need a multi-trillion-dollar market cap, massive institution adoption, significant supply reductions via burns or permanent locks. You're missing one huge factor. The one thing that I factor in, and I factor it in because of history, and there being a lack of any other mathematical outcome of fiat currency systems. And that is inflation, hyperinflation, and repudiation. Are governments going to stop printing? No, they're not. Are they likely to print more? Yes, they are. How much more? I don't know. Let's say we get into a war in the Middle East. That's not possible now, is it? What's the inflation rate going to be if we start fighting in the Middle East and it gets ugly? And Russia chimes in because they don't want to see the Caspian Sea opened up because that gives direct access to Russia. So they chime in. Will there be major inflation? Are governments going to start printing money to conduct these wars? What happens if China invades Taiwan? Will there be inflation? Will those nations, all the nations involved in that conflict, print currencies and then spills over into their network of other nations that are involved, or not directly, but indirectly involved? Will they have to start printing currencies to make up for the inflation that's coming out of their trading partners' currencies? Excuse me. Let me give my opinion one more time. The this war between Russia and Ukraine spills over into NATO. Will that cause inflation? What happens when inflation sets in on a worldwide basis? Where does that money go? When people start dumping out of paper, bonds, especially government bonds and government currencies, currency reserves, when they start dumping out of that because they're worried that it's going to lose its purchasing power because the governments are printing like mad to pay for war, where does all that money go? It seeks a safe haven. Bitcoin? XRP maybe? Why not XRP? If XRP is stable, stability is a whole lot better than inflation. A whole lot better than inflation. People will seek stability, and XRP can provide that. So will you see massive influxes of money? I think it's completely possible. In fact, it's inevitable. Governments cannot resist printing money, and that printing causes inflation, and inflation causes money to flee out of paper, excuse me, and rush into commodities. Is XRP a commodity? I don't know. If it's used for trans-border transactions, maybe you could treat it like it's a commodity. It's something that can't be inflated. So is that a better store of value than some paper currency a government's putting out? I think so. So that's what I think you're leaving out, is what will people run to when inflation sets in? When there are wars, there is inflation. The United States probably did better than any other nation that was involved in World War II financially. And we saw over 40% inflation during the war years. Look it up. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think the highest number was 44, and one year was 42% inflation rates. And we didn't have the debt load that we do now. Berkshire Hathaway's been selling all its stocks for years now and moving into treasuries. What are they going to do when the treasuries are threatened through inflation? Are they going to stay in those treasuries, or are they going to move out of it? And where do they move? And that's just one. When the whole world starts dumping out of paper, running out of paper, running away from paper, and running to assets, I think you'll see a lot of cryptos that could really pick up. Stable coins that are tied to paper currencies, I don't really see them doing that well, because I think, and I've only had one person comment that says along the same lines, that they will devalue also, and that makes sense to me. If the currency that you are attached to is hyperinflating, the value of your stablecoin should reduce also. I can't prove that. I can't prove it isn't that way. It makes sense that it would be that way, that stablecoin would lose value along with the printing of that currency. Another comment here. Will G5857 says high probability that USD will crash if they continue to print. No, it's not a high probability. It is an absolute certainty. It is a mathematical equation. It absolutely will collapse in inflation, and then hyperinflation, and then repudiation. Rinse and repeat multiple times, probably, to wash away the debt. If you're in that system during that period of time, you will lose everything that you have that is valued in paper. Everything. Best thing to do is to position yourself now. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but read the history of fiat currency systems and what their endings always are. Got one last comment for you, and that is from Vera XU3XW. Dude's on here wearing his cowboy hat and flexing while wearing his cowboy hat like it's a dating site. Okay. You don't like my hat? Vera? Hey, I gave myself a haircut, so it means $40 worth of, I'm going to buy XCN or XLM or XRP or Hedera or Cardano. They're all down at good price. Is this better for you? Tell you what though, Vera. My wife likes this hat. And she says I should wear it. So I'm going to continue to wear it. In fact, she has one just like it. And sometimes when we go out and wear them together. This is not a cowboy hat. Newsflash. It's an Australian Outback hat. And I bought it to keep my head from getting wet because my straw hat, which is all torn up, when it rains, I go out and feed the animals and I get completely soaked on my head. So I bought this. And you know what? My wife liked it. She said, "Oh, I like that on you." So I wear it. It's my trademark. God bless you all. Take care. And XRP, $100,000 today, please.
I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice.